Everything NYJ, what's next for the Jets? Jets win. What a roller coaster night. One of our hosts, Liam, was at the game. Italy Jet at home watching the game. Oh my goodness. Does it get better? Does it get worse? We'll find out today. Roll the intro. And here's your host, Italy Jet and Liam Johnson. Woo!
I give you a lot of credit for bringing that in energy that you just bought. I am losing. I lost my voice already.
Me too.
I am
Me
just
too.
one depressed soul today, dude. Like seriously, I have never
Yeah.
been so upset after a Jets win ever in my entire life. But let me tell you, so I'm just gonna kind of give you guys my timeline of everything that me being at the game, just everything that happened. So I decided to drive in. I went to work that day, so I left around 4:30. It took me 4 hours to get from Long Island
Mm,
to MetLife Stadium.
mm,
So I unfortunately miss Aaron Rodgers running out. I missed the 9/11 ceremony.
mm,
I walk into the stadium. I sit down in my seats to see Aaron Rodgers being carted off the field.
mm.
That's how I start my night. Well, that's the continuation of my night.
Yeah.
So I was just gutted. And then I'm thinking like, all right, like maybe he'll be all right. Maybe he'll come back in. I my dad texted me to tell me what's going on at home, what they're saying. They're saying at one point he was probable, or at one, it was just a high ankle sprain, which I would take whatever. So I'm just trying to find ways to get excited, and we're gonna get deeper into the game as it goes on. But halftime rolls around, and now mind you, like my plan was to tailgate, have a couple beers. I like to have a couple beers, go in, be like feeling a little buzzed. I think a lot of us get that feeling, really get me rowdied up. So then originally I was gonna have a couple beers as I'm walking into the stadium, but I just wanted to get in at that point. So I didn't
Mhm.
drink anything going in. So then halftime rolls around. I go up to the concession stand, waiting, 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 good 15, 20 minutes. Soon as Zach Wilson and the Jets offense march onto the quarter, I am next in line. They say, "What can I get you?" I go to order a beer. They say, "Yeah, we're done selling alcohol." I was like, "Are you freaking kidding?" At that point, I lost it. I was like, "I'm just done." The worst experience at MetLife that I've ever had. In Italy, we sat through week one last year, the blowouts. I've sat through plenty of blowouts,
Mm.
pouring rain, poor weather conditions, and then the New York Jets, they give us this stupid green and white arm bracelet, which was pretty cool. So I'm celebrating. It just breaks and falls right off my arm. You can't make this up. But let me tell you, the roller coaster of emotions that I felt. And then I had Bills fans because I was getting really pissed at Zach Wilson. Let's be honest, Zach Wilson played a terrible game. I do not feel comfortable with Zach Wilson moving forward. I'm sorry if my voice is raspy. I was trying to do everything I can to keep the defense in, to keep the energy going, and it was. Let me tell you, Fireman Ed had that place rocking. But the roller coaster of emotions, they won in spite of Zach Wilson. But I have just never been so gutted after a loss. But let me tell you, MetLife Stadium, that was the craziest environment that I have ever been to. The second close was the Mike White Halloween game against the Cincinnati Bengals. That was pretty cool because
Mm.
nobody was expecting that, but we all knew that our season was done at that point.
Mhm.
Going into week one, after a decade and a half, 15 years of nothing to cheer for, nothing to get excited about. You want to talk about 2015? Sure. But 15 years of bullshit was supposed to end. And typical Jets fashion, the curse is real. If not now, then when, dude? When? When are we gonna really get over that hump? I'm getting to the point where I don't even know if I'll see a Super Bowl in my lifetime. My
Mhm.
poor father, he's 55 years old. He's never seen one. He was 2 years old when they won. He sat through both. I mean, I was lucky. I didn't have to sit through Kotite. But I hear all the stories. He sat through Kota. He sat through Gase. He sat through the butt fumble. He sat through so many shutouts, blowouts, 45-3 to the New England Patriots on Monday Night Football years ago. We all like, when is this pain gonna end? Joe Beningo always says, "Oh, the pain." Yeah, the freaking pain. When is it going to end, dude? I'm done. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm not gonna cash it. I'm not gonna go in and stop being a Jets fan. I don't have that in me. I can never root for another team. That green and white, I'm always gonna root for them. But it sucks, man. So then I post, I posted a picture of me and my girlfriend. She's a Bills fan, and somebody commented like, "Oh, like, where's her Jet jersey?" I said, "Listen, I would not do that to my worst enemy." And then you want to talk about the 1998 season. That's possibly the last time that we have felt this good about a season. They lose in the AFC Championship game, one game from the Super Bowl. Testaverde comes out the next season, 99, first game, blows out his
Right,
Achilles.
right.
And then they bring him to the game. Oh, let's make you the honorary captain. I'm not saying that like it's his fault, but there's definitely some bad juju going on with that. I was 100% against that, but I didn't want to put that negative energy in the air. I didn't want to go on record and say that. So you bring him back for 2023, first game of the season with Super Bowl expectations. Freaking Aaron Rodgers blows out his Achilles. When is it going to end? I'm so freaking sick of this, dude. I'm so freaking sick of this. That's all I got to say.
Coming in hot and heavy as usual, Liam. Coming in hot and heavy as usual. You know what? I will describe my night. Me and this guy this guy from he's from New York. You know, his wife's from Washington. She's a Baltimore Orioles fan. She chose to root for the Jets because of this guy. I'm not going to say their names. I went to their house. I was like, wow, this is an awesome house. This is an awesome TV. This is awesome food. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. The vibes are good. I'm like, all right. I bring over my buddy. Then he leaves at halftime. So happy that happened. He was bad luck anyway, not a Jets fan. I thought I would try something that didn't work. So he's out. When Rodgers went down, I was like, oh, shit. The curse is real. We can't have nice things. But you know me, Liam. It's all about how you bounce back. It's all about adversity. It's all about what you do next. That game was not perfect. But you know what was perfect? Our defense is legit. Our defense is amazing.
Yeah.
Our offense had a plan for Rodgers. Did not have a plan for Wilson. Couldn't see with the injury with Rodgers. That whole stadium just, I could feel it even in the house. Dead.
Yeah.
Dead. It just looked dead. It looked like I was at a Rams game. It felt like a St. Louis Rams game after all the success the Rams had after the Super Bowls and everything. It felt like being there. It felt like a Monday night, Thursday night football game. It was awful. It was awful.
Second, third quarter, it was dead.
And now I'm looking and I'm like, wow, okay. Breece Hall, Cook, Garrett Wilson's touchdown. The defense is electrifying. 3 interceptions with Whitehead. I'm like, oh my God. Holy crap. We could beat him. Like and then when Gibson came in, I'm like, he didn't call a fair catch. He has room. There's no room. Don't call a fair catch. I was like, he's going to run this back. He's going to run this back. And he did. What a moment for him. What a moment for him. What a moment for his family. What a moment for Saleh when he said about, hey, they had a feeling he was going to do this, and he did. Because we're all like, oh, Brownlee's not playing. Gibson's playing. Must have a heavy role. Or Conklin and Uzama is going to play a lot, and they did. They did play a lot. Uzama was a great blocker this game.
Yeah.
I have never been through a roller coaster like this in a football game for a very long time. It's been forever since I've seen something like this. Like, this offseason wasn't even close to all the holdouts of players, to all the free agent signings of players. No. This offseason was about Aaron Rodgers. That was the number one thing everyone wanted to talk about. Of course, he plays for the Jets. There's always going to come with security with that. There's always going to come with cheap shots, everything. Anything that Jets fans say, everyone's going to make fun of us or something. We won, though. There's a lot to build off of. I understand scrutiny. I understand the Wilson situation, the offensive line, but if we can just take a step back, have a good game plan, figure out the old line, play more consistent with each other, we could have a chance. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be really good, but when you look at the Bills, like their defense kept them in this game. Josh Allen did not look like Josh Allen at times.
Oh, yes, he did. The Josh Allen I remember. Interception Central. Stupid wins are still there.
And he's good on Monday Night Football. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was going to be a little bit different the way it was. 16, 13, like, wow, But overall, that was a Hollywood movie we all saw. That was nothing like anything else. It wasn't even a Hallmark movie. It's not even a reality TV show. This was a Hollywood scripted movie. Felt like Remember the Titans. I'm just saying it felt like Remember the Titans. Your big linebacker goes down. This is not a championship game. It's not a championship game. It isn't. But your linebacker goes down and Remember the Titans, and all of a sudden, damn, like you have to rally around your quarterback. You got to rally around your other linebacker. With this one, we rallied around Zach Wilson and we won. It's crazy. But you know what? A lot to build off of. A lot of concerns. That's one of our previews for the Jets and Bills recap. But I guess the biggest question is, Rodgers is out for the year. Liam, take it away. Where we go from here?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to get too far ahead without saying, honestly, prayers up to Aaron Rodgers. You really do think of the human being. You hope that he's all right. Hope that he has a speedy recovery. Whether or not we ever see him in a Jets uniform again remains to be seen. I have a hard time believing that he's one and done. I think he will at least come back for next year.
I agree.
But yeah, what is next? Let's be honest. The New York Jets won in spite of Zach Wilson. And that defense kept us in games. It's not fair to ask them to do everything again, though. Mm-hmm. It's not fair for them, dude. It's not fair for them. Now you're seeing all these veteran quarterbacks. I'm hearing Joe Flacco might be coming back. Kaepernick has reached out. Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, Matt Ryan, Colt McCoy. You're hearing all these names. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, why, dude? Why us, man? But Zach Wilson, normally I would say he has to be better. But can we just stop it? He's not going to be better. He's had a full offseason. Aaron Rodgers in his ear. He's shadowing Aaron Rodgers every step of the way. The kid's just not an NFL quarterback. He doesn't have the brains for it. Maybe put him on Ritalin or something like that. Something to calm his nerves. Because once again, when the lights are on bright, he has happy feet. He looked a lot more poised in the pocket in preseason. And no, let me tell you, that offensive line was far from perfect. They were. He was scrambling. Yeah. He was making plays.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how we're going to sit through and feel confident the rest of the season with Zach Wilson. You can't, dude. He's not the answer. And this was the biggest indictment on Joe Douglas. I'm not calling for Joe Douglas to get fired.
Yeah, I understand.
But you do not go all in without a veteran backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. You didn't need Tim Boyle on this team. You could argue that Zach Wilson should be cut. Mm-hmm. But they're not going to do that. We know that. Mm-hmm. Teddy Bridgewater was out there. You couldn't bring in Teddy B to have him quarterback too? With this defense, you just really need a game manager. That's all you need. Now, it was nice having Aaron Rodgers out there, somebody that will be giving you leads. But you just need, and Zach Wilson, for the most part, he had his one interception, but for the most part, he took care of the football. But I had no faith in him leading a drive down the field that would end in a touchdown. I didn't think it would happen. It only happened once. But we need a better offensive line. Mekhi Becton, Dwayne Brown, they did not play great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to keep happening. Whoever you put back there, it really starts up front. We've been saying Martin. We had all these names for these offensive linemen that the Jets should have bought in.
Mm-hmm.
And this offensive line has been the New York Jets' kryptonite since Joe Douglas has been here. And he's supposed to be this offensive line guru.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
get it. You don't really know what Mekhi Becton is. But Dwayne Brown, 38, 39 years old, coming off a shoulder surgery, he just started really coming back to the team, what, a week or two ago?
Mm-hmm.
Laken Tomlinson did not play good. He had to have a bounce back game, a bounce back year. AVT coming off of injury. Connor McGovern's really kind of only been the only solid one, and even he
Yeah.
didn't look that great. Not saying AVT had a bad game, but he's coming off of an injury. You don't want to rush these guys back in. You need a completely different game. Like the game plan is going to be ground and pound, but you don't want to put too much on Brees's plate. Yeah, he had that nice 83-yard run. That's perfect. But you don't want him doing that time in and time out. That's why you brought in Dalvin Cook. But you don't want to see him getting injured either. You can't coach. You can't play afraid to get injured. But something's got to change, dude. And honestly, Aaron Rodgers played 18 years on grass. This turf, it's got to go too, dude. So what's next? Quite frankly, I don't know. I don't know. I think you just take it one game at a time. But do I feel confident going into Dallas playing that defense? No, I don't. What do you think?
You bring up some good points. I think for me, I'm seeing it on the other side of everything. The grass and the turf. Yeah, I agree that it is a big problem, and the NFL should do something about it. It's just they're not. They don't care. They don't care. And these guys that play the majority of their life, turf and grass, you just gotta deal with it. There's really nothing you can do. They're not going to budge unless Goodell wakes up one day and like, oh hey, I think you're right. There's many players on Twitter that have been voicing their opinions about it. Not just the Jets, Packers, Chiefs, guys, Jaguars. That's number one. Number two, I think it's very well known that Dwayne Brown, Becton, they have been flip flopped in other positions. Vera Tucker has been consistent at his position. McGovern, Tomlinson, those are the three guys that have worked at their position the longest out of Becton and Brown.
Yep.
They got to get a feel of consistency again. Because Brown and Becton, they look better in the running game, but the passing game, Wilson was running for his life. And when you have a guy that runs for his life like that, and when guys are trying to get open, because it's a great defense. Like Milano was all over the place. Floyd, I kept saying Floyd is dangerous, man. And Russo is dangerous. Lawson's dangerous. But you can't have your quarterback scramble so much and then not do anything. That's what Wilson had two, 3, 4 good throws, and that was it. But in his head and his feet are still not on the same page.
Yep.
Because when your offensive line is not protecting you, I don't know if anyone caught this at the end, but Wilson was shook. He almost got injured again with his knee.
Yeah.
And then and that's what I'm afraid of in this Cowboys game. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid if he gets hit again, 3-4 times in, he could get injured again. This offensive line's got to figure it out, man. They're old. One of them's young, but it's crazy. It's just crazy because this offensive line has been beat up so long. You would think that there would be more consistency there. But I get that there hasn't been any reps all the time with these guys because of injuries, and maybe eventually they'll figure it out when they play together consistently, maybe this week or maybe the second week with this team. I don't know. But something's definitely got to give if you're going to get a somewhat productive Zach Wilson, whoever comes in. Because Zach, he's showing that he could play a little bit better. Because he's not QB2 anymore. That's what everyone was thinking. He would come in, be QB2. His press conferences have gotten a lot better. That's what you would think, right? But no. Now it's I'm more concerned about this O-line than I am with Zach Wilson. I understand Garrett Wilson at the end of the season, right? Frustrated with him. I get that. Sauce Gardner. I get that. I am also worried the defense is going to get worn out too. I get that. But if we can continue to go with this running game right now, we're gonna be okay. But that's a thing about the running game that teams figure this out. What do you do with the passing game? Rodgers being out is a huge concern. Huge concern. But if they figure out and have a good game plan, we will be fine. But here's the thing about Dak, right? Dak and Josh Allen, right? Kind of on the same level a little bit. You can beat them. You can beat them. I'm refusing to say the season's over, but it's a fear for everyone because it's PTSD, Liam, right? PTSD.
Oh yeah. Yep. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like once you figure out the running game, we're screwed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just gotta hope that nobody gets to the point where like they're getting upset, where they're like, you don't want Garrett Wilson requesting a trade.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like stuff like that.
And you don't want Cook to check out too.
Yeah, yeah. Because when you bring in all these big name players, this is not what they signed up for.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And now they're probably thinking, the Jets are always gonna jet, and now the Jets are jetting. I agree. Like the season's over, but anything could happen. But do I feel as confident as I did? Absolutely not. Hell no. But with that being said, at the same time, I feel like Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, all those guys, I feel like they were kind of like not really getting open last night though either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like it was just like the Bills defense was like really holding them, but yeah, I mean, we got to figure it out. Like there's really not a whole lot of analysis that I could give. I saw with my own two eyes a struggling offense out there. They didn't look like they were really prepared. And by miracle, Gibson runs it back for the win. But I mean, our special teams is pretty good. I will say that. But with this offense, I mean, like, how many like Kincaid's passes did we see last night? Big two tight end sets. Where was Jeremy Ruckert on offense? I think that we definitely got to get like the tight end passing game more into rhythm. Conklin had what, one catch yesterday?
Something
Like
like
2-3
that.
yards, something like that. It was nothing. No, I get you're gonna want Uzama in there to be blocked, but you definitely got to get the ball to the tight ends more. Maybe like there just wasn't a lot of creativity on offense. Where are some like post routes? Like how are you scheming guys open? This is kind of what we saw from LaFleur last year. To send guys down the field like in man coverage. It's really just, I mean, it will work. Like guys will occasionally get open, but there was no post, no slants, bootlegs. I was surprised. Like to me, like there was so many opportunities to have some bootlegs out there, and that's what Nathaniel Hackett always did with Aaron Rodgers. That was like their little specialty play. But I don't know. It seemed like there was like a lot of creativity was lacking, I should say. And like you said, Italy, soon as you learn how to stop that passing game,
No, running game.
the running game, yeah, I'm sorry, the running game, yeah, we're screwed. Like, there's really nothing else to say. It's just the series of unfortunate events of being a Jets fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
That's really all I got.
the question is, what's next? That's the final thing we talk about. What's next? I think what's next is Coach Saleh is going to rally around Zach Wilson. He says he's going to be the starter. It's the same thing we've heard last year with Zach Wilson. He's our guy. He's our guy. He's our guy. He's now the guy. He was 5-1, and now it's like work off that 5-1 last year coming in. Now I'm over here like, okay, after that injury, after the Browns game and so on and so on. We just got it's just because we have a big schedule. We have a very big schedule. Cowboys aren't, and the Patriots are going to be ready for us. The Patriots are they got that circled on the calendar for us, and so do we. That's a revenge game for us. It's a revenge game for them because they hate us so much.
Yep.
Depending on what we do with Dallas, I say bring another O-lineman, bring up a backup quarterback, have a game plan surrounded by Zach Wilson. Hope and pray that Rodgers is here. I don't know if he's going to have surgery or not, but hope and pray that Rodgers is here to help Zach. I hope and pray that he helps his team because everyone loves that dude a lot. Everyone loves the shit out of Aaron Rodgers right now. It doesn't matter if he wasn't on your team or not. People have fallen in love with him in the offseason.
Yeah.
You're Mr. Gypsy hippie. So kind of like your neighbor or something,
Yeah.
Kind of like a neighbor vibe. But that's what it is. We move on. We get ready for Dallas. Hopefully they got a great game plan. I hope JD we trust. I hope he gets it together. But that's what's next is we focus on Sunday. See what this kid's got. People on Twitter are bashing everything about this team. I understand your frustration. I get it, but some of y'all are idiots. Like, y'all are idiots. Some of these apps, you all are fucking idiots. And you need to do it better or for worse. Better or for worse. You love your team so much, better for worse.
Yeah. So, I guess, like, what's next, like you had mentioned, like, the Jets have to bring in a veteran backup quarterback. Do you have anyone specific that you're looking at that
I'd say
you want?
Jacoby. I would like Jacoby Brissett. I would like Gardner Minshew. Colt McCoy wouldn't be bad. Nick Foles wouldn't be bad. I know people don't really want Nick Foles, but if he's in shape, why not? He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. So I know Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, but I can't stand him anymore, even though if he is a Paisan. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you?
Well, I think Minshew's with the Colts.
He is. We can trade for him. And Jacoby's with the Commanders. Trade for him too.
Yeah. Do you want to trade for them, or would you? Oh, so I mean, yeah, we do have our first round pick.
Yeah, we can't trade. We can't trade our first and second round pick.
Well, we have our first round pick. So
yeah, we will, but we can't. It's not. We can't do the first and second round pick until 2024. We can't trade that this year.
Even though we know that Rodgers is out for the season, you can't.
I think it's on hold. We own it, but it's on hold though. It's just on hold because of everything what happened last night.
See, I'm kind of in the boat of maybe just pick up a free agent quarterback. I'd be cool. I'd be okay with Nick Foles. I mean,
I want Colt McCoy too. Why not?
Yeah, just like any of those guys. You got to bring in a veteran backup. I don't want Joe Flacco. He's past his prime. But I do think that's what's gonna happen now because for whatever reason this coaching staff loves Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
But then maybe by the trade deadline, you trade for Mike Evans, or I don't know. I mean, if you could bring in another big body wide receiver in here, because I do think that losing Corey Davis, especially now, hurts.
Oh hell yeah!
And I was thinking that last night. I was how nice would it have been to see Corey Davis out there opposite of Lazard and Garrett Wilson. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Corey Davis was one of Zach Wilson's favorite weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. I mean, you definitely got to bring in a vet. I guess I'd be okay with Nick Foles. That'd be the guy I want. So you could probably get him for dirt cheap. It probably wouldn't cost you a whole lot. And then you just keep whatever draft pick you can, and then you just got to wonder, what are your expectations for this season now? Are you thinking that we're still a playoff team?
I think if we figure it out, and we're still in games, and we just keep fighting, I still think this team could be a playoff team. I still think that we can get 10 wins. I don't know about 12, but the fight from last night was just – I mean, I've never seen us bounce back so big in that way on a Monday Night Football game, September 11th, and anything. I know it's week one. People are saying it's a fluke or whatever. I don't know. It just looked different because of the culture change and the coaches. I just think no one gave up. That's why I think I have a little bit of hope And that's why I think that we'll bring into the Cowboys. I just think because we have a different offensive coordinator, we have Todd Downing and the wide receiver coach. I just think everything is just so different now. I think that's what gives me hope. Yeah, I think we could definitely be a playoff team. I never said that we were going to make it to the Super Bowl. I never said that AFC championship game. I think for me, it'll be a bonus, right? It'll just be a bonus. I think definitely playoff or wild card, 100%. Why
Now,
not?
my last question for you. My last question. Do you think that this puts Robert Saleh on the hot seat now?
I think I have said it my own way before, and I have talked to a lot of people about this. I think it's the way Salah manages the games and see what he does with his decision making. It just depends on what he does with his tasks to see if he's
Yeah.
going to come back next year or not. I would not give up JD for anything. I think JD
Yeah,
needs
I
to
don't think
stay
so.
the next 10 years. Salah, I think it's all just depends on what he does. On what he does with game time management, the running game, how he closes games. I think it all just depends on that, honestly, because Ulbrich loves him, Hackett loves him, everybody loves him. He is a lovable coach. And his thing with his brother on September 11th, great story. I just think it just depends on what he does, each and every game. So is he on the hot seat? I think if you're a Jets coach, either way, you're always going to be on the hot seat no matter what. As of
Yeah.
right now, I think they're rallying around him and they're going to figure it out from what the players I feel like are going off of.
I agree with you. I think that's how they're going to really assess the head coaching position
Yeah.
is if Robert Saleh can manage the things that he can control. He has
Mhm.
to be better with time management. And like so far he has been.
He
I
has
mean,
been. I mean, that running game at the end, like
yeah,
I
just
thought
trade
was
it out
I
the
thought I
clock.
agree with him. Yeah, just drain out the clock, keep running. I agree with it.
Yeah. And you do get a sense that Robert Saleh is learning. And
Yeah,
like I said, I mean, it was a small sample size. We don't have a
yeah,
whole other season to judge him. I mean, like, we don't have a big majority of the season to judge him off of. But overall, he's been good. But yeah, I think if he's still making the same mistakes, poor timeout, poor time management, things that he can control, then I do see a situation that he could be out of here. But I think that this kind of just gives this coaching staff a pass. Be like, listen, like the guy, our franchise quarterback went down. We're making do the best that we can. But I think it's gonna be very telling to see whether this team, specifically this defense, quits on him or not.
yeah.
I mean, if they can continue to rally around the team like that defense did last night, and even the offense. I mean, if the offense gets lazy and you could tell that they're kind of checking out, I think that's going to be
Mhm.
a big indictment too. But Robert Saleh has a huge task ahead of him. Not only
Yeah.
does he have to be the head coach on the field, but you need to find a way to get these guys motivated to play hard, to play like a New York Jet, just like Rex Ryan used to say, to play their style of football. Yeah, your gold diamond went down, but you got to find a way to keep these guys motivated, to keep these guys focused, and like Robert Saleh says, to keep the main thing the main thing.
Mhm.
So that's what I think it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, the New York Jets are still sitting first place in their division, 1-0,
Yeah.
starting the season off with a win. Always a good thing, something to build
Yeah.
forward, something to
Yeah.
build on.
And
So
and they
not
just
all
reached
hope
out
is lost.
to Henny. He's got a past with Hackett.
Yeah,
Schwartz posted that. And also, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Passing rating for Mahomes was 77.5. Passer rating for Josh Allen was 62.7. Passer rating for Joe Burrow, out of all things, 52.2. But that's expected because the Browns are like Allen's kryptonite. Like we can't get past them.
yeah,
Guess how much Zach's passer rating was?
yep.
No, guess how
Well,
much? Guess how much?
how much? What I'm looking it up here. I don't see anything. What's it saying?
81.4. 81.4.
Yeah. So I think that we all just need to hope to God that Zach Wilson could just be a game manager. Just don't be the reason that we lose games. Give
Yeah.
this defense a fighting chance. whether that means you run the hell out of the ball, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just be better up here, dude. That's all it is. But
Yeah.
I'm just about ready to wrap this up. I got
Yeah,
things
let's
to do in a
go.
couple. So.
You can tell this was been off a whim, but guys, thank you for hanging out with us. You can follow me at Italy Jet here at social media, all of these 8 social media platforms. You can follow Liam right here as well on Instagram. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Please comment, share, subscribe, and like. And I know these scenes, just keep celebrating it. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much, guys. Peace.
It's caught in the crossfire.